collecting things, antiques, stamps, tokens, and mementos of days gone by. But how much are these keepsakes worth? We'll tell you about a Clovis woman who is an expert appraiser. Also ahead, modern treasure hunters are in the South Valley this week. We'll tell you where you can meet world-renowned antique and collectibles experts. Plus, we'll give you a unique tour of a Fresno sports card and memorabilia shop. It's a family business that's fueled by passion and a love for sports. We Are Fresno Live starts now.
This is We Are Fresno, live on KC24. News that matters.
And good afternoon and welcome to We Are Fresno Live. I'm Stephanie Berugian, and today we're talking about collectibles like sports memorabilia, antiques, even vintage clothing and furniture. We begin with a report from our Joe Ibarra, who was at a treasure hunt in Old Town Clovis this past weekend.
Old skateboards, vintage toys, and worn-out furniture. It looks like a bunch of junk, but it's worth something to somebody out here.
Everybody likes to find something old and something to treasure.
While some are looking to take that treasure home, many just want to sell it. That's where Kathy Osterberg-Sobelman comes in. She's an antique and collectibles appraiser.
I'm a very lucky person. I have a brain with sponge qualities.
With her trusty magnifying loupe, she can set a value on anything in a matter of seconds.
For this radio, it's probably worth between $40 and $50 as it sits, and in good condition in the box, about $150.
And it's not always good news.
It's very well done. Unfortunately, the value is not that high right now. It's right around $150 to $200 in most places locally.
Juan Nacion Seno was okay with that. He got the painting for free when someone left it behind at his home.
To me, it's worth a lot of money. Probably, I probably won't get rid of it because 31 years already is, I can probably keep it forever.
Sylvia Fisher brought this cookie jar by. Her mother-in-law got it in 1945, and it still looks new.
Look at this. Very good condition. There's the signature right there.
Kathy says it's worth $100, but there's too much sentimental value for Sylvia to let it go.
I just want to know what it's worth, God, if it was worth more than $100, we might think about it, but I don't think so. It's a family, heirloom.
Joe Ibarra, KC24.
Well, if you missed the Old Town Clovis Antique Fair over the weekend, there are two more coming up, so mark your calendar. The next one is May 29th, and then there's another one later in early fall, September 25th. And for more information, you can go to clovisoldtown.com. And you don't have to wait until May to find out if you own an expensive collectible or an antique. You might be able to find out this week at the Hanford Mall, because the Treasure Hunters Roadshow is in the Central Valley, and joining us now to tell us more about that is Gary Davison. So you're looking to buy yourself. Explain a little bit how this works. You're not displaying antiques as much as you're buying.
We have a display of the items that we like to buy.
Okay.
So there's certain items we're looking for. We love U.S. coins prior to 1965, the old paper money before 1934, and of course right now gold and silver is at an all-time high. We're seeing a lot of silver coins and a lot of that junk jewelry.
Right, and we have so junk jewelry too.
That's, well, you got that set of earrings at home with that missing earring back or a broken chain, even a gold tooth. You'd be surprised what it brings you these days.
Okay, so folks can bring these items that may have some value to them to you, and then you pay them for it.
Yep,
That's how
right
it works,
on the spot.
right?
We'll examine them, and if it's an item we're able to make an offer on, we'll make an offer, and if you like it, I can give you a check on the spot. Okay, so what are some of the other items that you're looking for? I know you have an antique toy here. We love the collectibles, and this here is a Buddy L toy from the 1920s.
Is that a particular brand?
Buddy L was a manufacturer of toys back then, and his signature was the red wheels. So this here is a flatbed wood hauler, is what they call it.
Okay.
And they come in all different sizes and shapes, but it's important to have no plastic on it. The less the plastic and rubber, the more the metal. That's more of a collectible.
Okay, so what is an item like this worth?
It depends on the condition. I paid $350 for this toy right here, and it's a great little toy.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
It's nice. I like to display it. It's fun. It's represents exactly what we're looking for. The company actually started with toys in the early 90s, and we've expanded from there.
All right, and tell us about the guitar here, because this is not just any guitar.
Nope, this is a Gibson Les Paul. It was the early 1970s, and it's a highly collectible as well.
Right.
We love those vintage guitars.
All right, very good. Gary Davison from the Antique Treasure Hunters Roadshow, which continues through Saturday at the Hanford Mall. Bring your items in. Gary may pay you for them. You've got a lot of money to pay out.
I do. I have $300,000 this week, and I love to spend every penny of it.
That'd be great.
So come on down to the Hanford Mall, see us, and we'll do the best we can to make you leave happy.
Here's the address, 1675 West Lacey in Hanford, and the hours are 9 to 6. Today through Friday and through the weekend from 9 until 4 on Saturday. So for more information, go to this website, treasurehuntersroadshow.com. And as passionate as some of us are about antiques, some sports fans are pretty passionate about sports cards and memorabilia. KC24 photojournalist Kevin Mahan takes us on a tour of Massetti Sports Cards in North Fresno.
Hi, I'm Matt Massetti. Welcome to Massetti Sports Cards. I got started in the hobby when I was probably about 8, and that's when I started going to the local store, the local market, and buying packs of cards with my friends. From then, I just kept collecting until I was 17, 18. Went to all the conventions and shows with my father, and by age 18 and a half, my brother and I opened Massetti Sports Cards, and we've been here since December 2nd, 1989. So it's been quite a ride, 21 years now. My dad was, it's not a bad idea. He was in business, so he knew about being a businessman, and I wanted to give it a shot, and that's what happened. I went for it, and had no idea I'd be here 21 years later, I'll tell you that. So it's been quite a ride. It's been a lot of fun, and I still play with cards every day. Probably the most expensive item in my shop by far right now is an autographed baseball by Babe Ruth. It was signed when he came through Fresno on a barnstorming tour with Lou Gehrig and a team. You've probably seen the famous photo at local eating establishments. It's a picture of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig out there with a priest and a bunch of kids by the train. Well, this was autographed on that day back in October 1927. And this ball right here is very valuable, between $7,000 and $8,000 for this baseball. Since I'm a Yankee fan, I consider this pretty cool. This is an actual check from the American League Baseball Club of New York, which is the New York Yankees, written to the Washington American League Baseball Club back on October 1st, 1925 for $488.40. It's signed by the team owner, Jacob Ruppert, and it's countersigned by Ed Barrow, who was the secretary of the Yankees for 40 years. And it was used to purchase World Series tickets to the 1925 World Series. This is just a simple 8x10 autograph of Willie Mays, and it's autographed by Willie McCovey also, authenticated by Global, and it's a very cool piece right there. Oh, it's a great hangout. We sit here, we chat about sports, we chat about people's, talk about their job, their family. It gets to be a close-knit group here, and most of my customers end up being my friends. So baseball is my #1 seller. It's the, I think, #1 sport for my customers. And it's just, it's more of a passion for the sport that these people have. And that's why they collect. And they enjoy their collections, and they keep buying the new players, not just the older players. There's always new guys coming up. And I don't think collecting will, it'll always be around. The hobby will always be here, because baseball will always be here.
How true is that? Well, Massetti's Sports Cards is located at 1744 West Bullard in Fresno. And here's their phone number if you want to give them a call, 432-8490. Now, a lot of women love vintage jewelry, handbags, and vintage-inspired clothing. And our Carolyn Bruck is on the hunt for some fashion accessories. She's in North Fresno at a consignment company called Coco's. Carolyn.
Well, Steph, finding vintage accessories, super easy here at Coco Consignment. Take a look at this bag. It is a Chanel rattan bag. Isn't it great? It actually matches what I'm wearing today, so maybe I should take it home. It looks pretty good, right? I'm standing here with Laura Bradhurst. She is the co-owner of Coco Consignment. And today's theme, the show, all about vintage, all about connection to the past. Why do you think so many people want vintage accessories, vintage handbags, vintage clothing?
Many reasons. I think #1, sentimental reasons. Maybe it was their mothers, their grandmothers. Also, one of a kind. You can't find another one like it normally. And then you can also put your own spin on it, make it yours, put something current with it. It's a lot of fun.
So talk about some of the pieces that you have here. You have a lot of different vintage handbags, and I notice these ones have a lot of baubles on them. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Absolutely. These are, we have two ladies that grew up in Fresno that now live in Connecticut, and they take vintage handbags and embellish them with buttons, different baubles. We have a few more over here that they've done. Beautiful, one of a kind. Again, with all, they take vintage buttons, pins, baubles, and embellish the handbags, bringing them back to life, giving them a new life.
Now, if you maybe only have one thing that's vintage and you want to pair it with what you already have, you can make a vintage inspired outfit. You've kind of put together some of those things for us here.
Yes.
Right over here, we've got 4 different looks, right?
Absolutely. And all of these are, they're current, but they're vintage inspired, or you add something vintage to them, like the vintage jewelry, vintage scarf around the one outfit. So it's very easy. You can add any vintage piece to a modern piece and kind of bring it back to life.
And the workmanship, it seems like the workmanship is something that's really special about vintage things. You can't get that.
No, you cannot. Things are not made today like they were made, you know, several years ago, many years ago. And no, it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of customers looking for vintage, and our vintage handbags especially do really well. They're, again, one of a kind.
And I'm eyeing that Chanel bag, so any of you out there who want it, you're going to have to go through me for it. I'll send it back to you, Steph.
I think it might be sold today, right? Okay, Carolyn, thank you so much. Well, if you're looking for vintage-inspired clothing or accessories, the Coco Consignment Company is one option for you, located at 1731 West Bullard in Fresno. Their website address, cococonsignment.com. Coming up, we'll have the news of the day, as well as the forecast from AJ, and also ahead, another installment in our special series, Real Heroes. We'll meet a Fresno eye doctor who is dedicating to helping others in need.
This is We Are Fresno, live, with Stephanie Baruzian, Faith Sidlow, and the entire KC24 News team, bringing you the people, places, and spirit of the Valley. This is We Are Fresno, live.